All right, folks, it's Thursday, June 2022. This is Zach. He's delivering a container. It's not the K-lines like I like, but there aren't any K-lines available. I think I have the last K-line out there. So that's an F450, for those of you who want to know. It's the same as an F350, except it has a little lower rear end, or higher, depending on how you look at it. It can pull more. It has a tighter turning radius, which is why Zach likes it. He is the man who supplies these containers, and they're expensive. God, they're great to store cars in. Now it's been wet here, so hopefully it doesn't get stuck. But he's been delivering these things for, God, 30 years. Is that what he told me? So he has the skills. Of course, I can't back up a trailer without like 20 people helping me. But we'll watch him. Like I said, the F450 has a much tighter turning circle radius, which is why he likes it. It's functionally an F350. Yeah, here's my favorite container, the K-line. But like I said, these things aren't available anymore. Oh, Zach's getting out. I'll be back. Well, Zach and I agree, it's too wet to try to maneuver that container into its location. But he's a very nice man. Works for MIT. Well, he owns MIT. God, I hope he doesn't get stuck. I hope he doesn't get stuck. Yeah. Looking good. It's got the trailer on solid ground. Keep his momentum going. Keep his momentum going. Keep his momentum going. That's the dangerous spot where he's at right now. God, he's a brave man. Yep. So he will try redelivering the container next week. He's a solid fellow. Got introduced to him through Sean, who's known him for a long time. These shipping containers are very popular for storing items. As you know, I have one. I have, what, 5? They're great for storing things if you don't want the animals and insects to eat them up. Way to go, Zach. Good job. I know he really wants to drop it off today. But that's not going to happen. I think you can back it into that area over there and then pull out. All right, I'll be back. All right, we have a small leak in this container. So Zach has come up the side and he's counted where he thinks the hole is. He's got a membrane and some caulk and got a gun to evaporate the water. He's got a propane torch. He's been selling and renting these containers since the early 2000s. Oh, I'll have to take a look at the property around here. Yeah, looking good. There's the pond off in the distance. You see anything?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, there's a couple other areas that could be potential trouble in the near future, which I'm going to just seal them all up too.
I appreciate it.
Since I'm here, so big deal, you know. But yeah, and then at some point when you get ready to sell them back to me, that's great. I'll take them back. You don't have to worry about this.
And they're really not very high maintenance items.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so hard to tell a leak without daylight coming in, because the water goes where daylight can't.
Oh yeah. I used the towel to get most of the water away, and now using the torch just to get it dry, which is all good. Zach was telling me there was a time back in the early 2000s he had over 500 of these containers for rent. Said now he has a couple hundred. Says there's a lot more competition now. So that's some sort of rubberized.
It was a butyl. Butyl tape, very sticky.
Okay.
That's what they put on the roofs of leaky trailer park people's houses, and campers, and car haulers, and every kind of other thing that ever gets a leak where a rivet's dripping or something. You just throw a piece of this on there and it seals it shut.
Nice stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, in the shipping industry, this is what they put on your box when it gets a damage and your freight's still inside of the container and you don't want to get it wet or contaminated. You seal it shut with this stuff.
So we counted the number of ribs from the inside where there's a hole leaking. And then we counted the number of ribs up here. And we're going to patch a couple of spots, because inside the container there's a bit of a hole. Just leaks a little bit. I didn't make a big deal out of it. All the vehicles, as you know, are covered up with sheets of plastic. But it'll be nice to eliminate the water. He's taking the butyl rubber. He's repaired the surface by drying it off, scraping it, and then heating it up with the torch. And I'll put the butyl patch on there. Boy, it is a nice windy day. The wind's coming out of the west. Yeah, nice dry air. And I think I mentioned before that yesterday it rained over an inch, which is good. Give the ground some good moisture. So, we'll get this thing sealed. Life will be good. I'll probably pull the cars out of this container first. It's a big old 93 Cadillac and a 2004 Lincoln town car. Not that that really matters, but it's what's in the container. And the container behind him, the yellow one, will have to be delivered next week because the ground's just too wet for him to maneuver. That'll be nice. I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll have 7 containers. Great way to store cars. Like I mentioned earlier, Zach fully intends to purchase these back when the time comes, when I don't need them anymore. It would be nice to get a pole barn out here. Much easier to manage cars, but nothing like a shipping container. So you've seen basically the repair. The other option is actually cut it out and weld it, but that's a far more labor intensive, expensive process. It's apparently what they do at the places where they repair these, but these aren't gone anywhere. So I will talk to you later. It's a great day. I hope you're having a good time. Bye. All right. Sadly, it's too wet to drop off the container. And of course, he's been driving trailers for decades. I would not be happy if I had to back this thing up. It would probably take me a couple of days. And I'd have to have half a dozen people here to help me. But no, Zach just knows how to do it. We will leave some mud on the street, but that's just the way it is. Oh yeah. Really should get some gravel for this part of the driveway. I'll get there eventually. But it's always fun to watch somebody who knows what they're doing with a trailer. I'm self-taught, but I'm still not very good at it. But I'm a whole lot better than I was years ago when I started. But look at that. He can just sort of just gently aim it. Yeah. God, he's good at it. Impressive. Of course, the driveway has to curve a little bit towards the rear end, but that won't be much of a challenge for Zach. I have to keep it up tight. Gets at one end. Yeah. Oh, looking good in the neighborhood. Impressive. Always fun to watch the pros do their job. Cranking it back again. He wants me to look for cars. I can get that, yeah. It's interesting when someone sees a trailer this big being backed out, they sort of seem to get impatient, like somehow, well, what's taking so long? Well, those people have never, ever done a trailer. Yep. Always stand on the side with the driver. That's one thing I've learned. Mike has taught me that. It's the blind side that you don't want to be on. Yeah, looking good, looking good. 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 Yeah. He'll be back next week. Delightful man. Very pleasant to talk to. Very, very smart fellow. Entrepreneur. Yeah. A little dirt on the road. Such is life. Bye, Zach.